Guardian, this is an emergency. The Ionian's energy reactor is on the verge of going supercritical. We need to shut it down, now.
Didn't y'all just fix this thing?
Since the Guardian shut the Vex quarantine down, they're figuring out a way to get to the 9 without it.
If this reactor melts down, it'll charcoal Kepler and wipe out anyone trying to hinder the Vex from controlling the Singularity.
Wild hunch, but I think the Guardian found the cause of the meltdown.
Focus on the reactor. Keep the Ionian safe. Then deal with the invulnerable Vex. We don't have much time, Guardian. Fight your way through and disable any power nodes you can find.
Every energy plant has to have a supply of coolant on hand to submerge the core in an emergency.
If you can find it, I'll route it back to the reactor, Hero. Go!
We need to get the Ionians evacuated. If this place goes nuclear, the temple, the caldera, everything is squarely within the blast radius.
Damn it! The Ionians are too dispersed to reach all of them before boiling conversion.
Guardian, buy us as much time as you can. We'll assess our options. Lodi, do the Ionians have any kind of shelter they can get to quickly? Bunkers or even a cavern system?
Damn it! This thing's hemorrhaging coolant like a severed head!
I'm beneath the reactor. Its reservoir is cracked, but I can contain the pressure. Ophiuchus will just have to continually res me. Ikora, don't worry about me.
Get help. 3 wanted us here alive. What if they could intervene?
Make the call.
Temps aren't stable yet, but we're making headway. Ikora, you holding together the coolant walls?
Keep going. Buy us any time you can.
Something's wrong. 3 isn't talking. I just see flashes. Brooklyn, but everything's on fire. Is this the collapse? Oily rain? Heads tipped back. People don't know it's irradiated.
Lodi! We're running out of time!
Talk to me, please! 3, we need help! It's just showing me things. An eruption? In a tundra? A bear boiling in mud? In a forest of ash? 3! The reactor is melting down! We need you to help us! Stop showing me a meteor! Talk to me! Damn it, why are you showing me this? Why won't you help?
Cut the connection! Lodi, Orin, find cover. We're on our own.
The unknowable god doesn't want to help. What a surprise. They're just gonna leave you dying on repeat. One node left, hero.
Lodi, are you all right? Louis!
That was the collapse. And then a little earlier. And then way earlier. 3 won't talk, won't help. They just wanted to show us disasters.
We've got something more reliable than a god. Guardian, my faith lies with you. If they won't save us, then we'll just have to save ourselves.
Oh, hell yeah, sister. Now you get it.
Murdered a mortal so she could be useful in her next life. And abducted her friend to use him as a puppet. They'll casually rearrange the life of the Guardian but won't lift a finger to help? My role may be set, but I will not play it passively. I will hold the reactor together with my bare hands. I will move time and space to hold them accountable. And I will enact my future on my own terms. If the 9 I core race so badly, then here I am!
There you are.
Your will is your own!
Hell yes! That's what I'm talking about!
you were underneath that thing, Miss Ray?
Holding it together in there while the Guardian got it stable out here.
You always were a tough one. How many times did you die?
As many as it took to finish the job.
You've got everything you need. Split that Hydra from the reactor. Then, let's finish the job.
The reactor shut down again. How stable are the Ionian's power sources? Will the altar still hold?
It's not a permanent solution, but our efforts should have given the Ionian's generators a serviceable amount of juice. The altar should remain stable, and we'll still be able to get through.
3's waiting for us on the other side of that door.
Ms. Ray, not to rush us, but the Vex are flocking to the Singularity. We should follow. I want answers.
As do I. You and I have come too far not to know the reason why we're here. And we're only beginning to understand what they changed for the Guardian.
Wait, Guardian. Orin, hold up. I feel like the L train during rush hour. All of them are queuing up in here. The 9 need us.
The vote. Of course they want to do it now. I remember my own transfer. There wasn't much fanfare. Xur was miscreated. They seemed eager to move on.
Guardian, hurry. The 9 want to talk.
Formally, and they're not too keen on waiting.
Yes. Pressed glass. Light shining. Standard procedure. Let them in.
Oh, good. I was worried they would start without...
Nice of you to answer. Quitter, your vessel is required.
You may... borrow.
Your captured audience assembles.
Invitation to notarize transfer. Tonight the weapon answered.
Speak what 8 have spoken.
Quiet your clods and gases. We all have Elstons to be, but only one right now.
I hold the vessels. Old
And new.
This quitter is an outcast, but still connected and useful.
This beautiful boy is the emissary to be. Paperwork permitting. And you, Guardian, you are the weapon we chose by right and trial.
The weapon guides the transfer on the edge of its paracausality to shroud this chained sequence, to fell Vex and parry prediction. Be ours.
Kneel! Kneel. And let your knobby quarks press the hadrons. Do all present here ratify this contract? Aye or nay?
Denial!
Predictable. My vote is aye. Obviously.
Emissary appointment, declination, weaponized flesh tool, affirmation.
As you sustain us, you will sustain us. For accepts.
Yea. Unsheath the weapon. But reactionary choices. Empty-seated. Nay to the emissary.
Stupid to ignore threat, arm ourselves. We never move without intermediaries. I to all.
Complete, abject, insulted refusal!
Ridiculous! 6! We are at war! 1 casts our vote in the affirmative!
This council sees the weapon loosed, but stands unmoved to ratify an emissary. 8 votes cast. 1 remains. It is required. Weapon, you are charged with seeking the final vote. 3. Our vacant gives you what you need.
Never again.
I'm gonna throw up.
Seek 3 at the altar. All paths converge, Guardian weapon.
Guardian, all the 9 seem to know what the weapon is for, but I don't have a clue.
All I felt when they were talking about whatever you were for was terror.
Lodi, before we get further, the woman you knew, what was her name?
Are you sure you need to know that, Ikora?
I want to know who I'm fighting for.
You're fighting for the most fearless person I know. And when we get to that god, you're going to ask him why they killed Dr. Nella Davis.
The transfer was successful. My senses are beginning to settle. I feel smaller.
Couldn't help but count while you all were calling the 9, but, where was 3?
Absent. And I remember I know why. I'm supposed to tell you something.
You have your chisel, Orin. Use it, and find us clarity. The Vex and the Singularity. Maya's goal has always been to return to the Golden Age, but a black hole won't get her there.
But maybe a member of the 9 could. She came to make a deal with 3. Trade the current age for the Golden Age?
A trade like that wouldn't be possible. The 9 can bring anything forward in time, but nothing ever goes backward. 3 would have told her as much.
Maya's echo means no isn't an answer.
This sounds like it isn't about simple refusal, though. It's a matter of physical impossibility.
When Maya spoke to us in the gorge, she said she did what she came here to do. But we're not back in the Golden Age. What did she try to do?
The echo can compel, but it cannot force the impossible. We can't worry about this now, Guardian. We need the Archon out of the way. Then we'll deal with Maya.
Prevent the deathless advance!
Is anyone else freezing? Muscles are locked? I feel awful. Something's wrong. Oren?
I felt that too, the day after I quit. Joints locking up, frozen head to toe. Something was very, very wrong. The Archon is hiding the truth from his people. Drifter, you need to bring your ship close. I'm remembering part of the message I was meant to deliver. Ready the derelict. Bring the wall.
What? Why?
Because I'm supposed to tell you now.
I'm nearly in eyesight. There's a lot of exiles on the ground.
More than any number can count. Annihilate 1 and 3 will roar in my voice. The Giver and its answers are unreachable. Exiles, take down the Deathless ship!
Taking heavy fire! missiles just ran outside. Archon's not bluffing. Can't get close to whatever the hell that is. I'm taking too much fire.
No! This is how it happens, isn't it?
I don't need to breathe. Ikora, why don't I need to breathe? Am I dying?
Hold on, Lewis. We're almost there.
My chisel is sharp. The message is clear. I understand what was forgotten. 3 is dead.
The 9 that invited us here is dead.
I'm so sorry. It was like a block in my mind. The 9 wouldn't let me remember until now.
They brought us here to tell us something. They rearranged our entire lives. For what?
There has to be a reason. What type of message are we supposed to hear from the dead?
The end of endings has been revealed. See how the blood of the giver feeds the singularity.
They're using 3's body to widen the black hole. They made the singularity. We need to hurry before we're overtaken.
Train the giver. Devour its flesh beyond flesh, my exiles. Coast the infinite. And you, Deathless, I will cut you down long before the singularity grows large enough to swallow you!
The Archon is the only thing between us and the answers we deserve. Bury him, Guardian.
The grand design speaks of the end, dear ones. All of this is as foretold. It is why we prepare, why we ready our bodies and conglomerated our minds.
The Archon is inside that thing. It appears to be drawing power from the catch above. We'll need to power it down to get him out. Guardian, let's get to that catch.
Exiles, did I not foretell of a ruinous villain? The grand design promises victory in the face of our greatest foe.
Draining from the catch. That should get the Archon out into the open.
Kepler will rend into infinity as exiles return, riding the miracles of the event horizon home. the killer's carcass as you are fated to die. Face me, weapon of the Nine! This was not the path of the grand design. Incorrect, false, trickster, deathless, ruiners. For my exiles, recommand the servitors. Whatever form of crime is made last. We must lead the Singularity. We must round to become transcendent. Yes, I am wounded, just as I foretold. Deathless fiend, ruiner, cheat. I was prophesied with them. So like the dream, my sword for 1,000 eyes. How could you take everything from me? I was a house. You made me. I always triumph in the grand design. The agony proves my worth. Eternity in the Singularity's embrace.
I just had the craziest idea I've ever had in my life. What if we can wake it up? What if that's what the hall is for? Play the game. I spent years filling it with energy. The hall knows what it was made for.
3 intervened so Drifter would bring the means to revive them. Brought Lodi to give them a voice. Summon the weapon in myself so we would hear their message.
I don't want to see 3 again. You were brought here to raise the dead, bring them to life. They'll close the tear. Wake them and listen.
Orin, wait. This call is different than the others? What happens to me if they're dead?
I guess you'll find out.
Guess so. Whatever you see, don't worry about me. I was made for this. Line's open, weapon.
On your signal, hero.
You got us here, Guardian. Now get us the answers we deserve.
When you're ready.
Not running from this one. As much as I'd like to. Not every day you resurrect a god.
You stand here, that I would not die alone again.
If you cannot give me what I want, what can you do?
Still I die afraid, at your sister's command.
You are a being who bends all rules. Why do you fear breaking this one?
A death ensures extinction. Listen carefully, children of my earth. To survive, you must bind the 9. It cannot be done. The weapon will do it. Strike true, weapon. Goodbye, Ambassador. Goodbye, Commander.
Come, coward.
That's a neat little trick. Thanks, friend. I'm fine. I'm dead again. Or 3 is dead again. The 9 can't exist here. Same as we can't exist in a painting.
3 said their death starts a chain reaction that leads to extinction. But if they went through all the trouble to get us here, to send a message to the children of their Earth,
then it must be a warning, not a promise. 3 gave us instructions to prevent extinction.
bind the 9. A dying wish to save us.